Hello, everybody, and welcome to Toku Portal Podcast. I am Ryan. With me is
Dedicate.
And little kitty.
And today we're talking about Kaitou Sentai LupinRanger vs Keisatsu Sentai PatoRanger, episode 37. So, we open with a crab-like Ganglar rampaging. His name is Yadoga Go Home. Yep, that's his last name. And you'll see why. So the thieves, Kaito change in roll call. The PatoRangers arrive as well and attack. All the Potamon are defeated. Go Home uses his collection piece to attack the Rangers through small portals. He combines this with his Rainbow Beam ability that sends all the Rangers, with the exception of Lupin Red, flying to their homes, or apartments, or Jurare. And then we get the opening. Yeah, kind of silly, but they were saving up the good stuff for later.
Yeah, apparently so. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward manga. Can't really say anything about. But why is it the collection piece always gives them the cool power, and they're the stupid ones naturally? I mean, come on, abilities are fucking cool. Sending your opponents home, sheep shot. It's like friggin' Abra teleport. God dang time you find one.
uh, so the collection piece opens up the portals. You're saying that going home is the lame one, right?
Yes,
Okay.
because portals are useful and cool.
The answer
This is just
is that why would the collection pieces exist if they already had cool powers?
fair enough.
I mean, we don't actually know why the collection pieces exist, but they clearly were made by Ganglars and can be used in their saves. So, also, this kind of just is one of those examples of the collection piece complements the Ganglar really well. Because he can use his portals to send his go home attack through. And now no one can touch him. And I'm going to admit, when I started this episode, I had forgotten what the episode preview from last week was. So I was waiting for, what's the kicker here? What's this episode about? And then I saw that and remembered, oh, right! And knew I was in for a good time.
So, when you come back, we get the episode title, number 37, The Place You Call Home. So, Red attacks, but Go Home just retreats by blasting himself with his ability.
Genius.
Pretty funny. Yeah.
Okay, that was clever. I'll give him that.
True. So, the global police wonder how to defeat Go Home. The thieves do as well. Toma is concerned that the ability didn't affect Kairi. So I guess Kairi does stay at Jurare sometimes, but it's not really his home.
See, here's the thing. He lives at Jurare, but it's not his home.
There's a difference, though.
Yeah.
But we'll get more into that later.
Yeah.
Sure.
So both the police and thieves propose camping outside and carrying the tents during combat to counter the ability. Keiichiro, Toma, and Umika go camping, coincidentally at the same site.
Because
so flustered. Oh, go ahead.
Of course. I was just saying, of course they did.
Yeah. So flustered, Umika makes the awful excuse that they're camping because they had a fight with Kaitou and he kicked them out. Genius.
Why was that the lie she came up with?
To be honest, I wouldn't put it past him.
Why not Kairi hates camping?
Because Kyrie practically can do that.
I love the implication. Not the implication. He straight up did this. Kiichiro straight up moved out of his apartment in like 12 hours. Just everything gone in storage.
Yeah, and he was actually living at the police dorms, so he didn't have much to begin with. But that's fitting. So let's see. Yeah, over the phone, Kairi suggests to Toma that they shouldn't fight the Ganglar because Keiichiro might recognize the tents. Toma hesitates to ask Kairi something, and he just wishes him good night.
It is clear here that Tuma was going to ask him if he doesn't see them living together as his home. And which he doesn't, because that's why the beam didn't work on him. And the fact that Tuma is upset by this really hits it hard about their relationship. They started this as we just work together, but Tuma has grown to enjoy their company. And so the realization that Kairi hasn't actually hurts him here.
They're
And he's afraid that that's going to be the answer, and he can't bring himself to ask the question. Sorry, King, what were you saying?
No, just it really shows that it's subtle, but they are changing. Everybody, whether it's for better or
Yeah, and I like how it's the Red Ranger that's having these kind of issues. It's usually one of the side ones, not the leader, but for all his bravado and cockiness, he has some issues pushing people away and stuff.
This is how you make Red the important the like important character, I guess, without making him like the main character, the only character. This is how you give Red the special attention. You make him stand out.
Yep. So Keiichiro asks. Oh wait, no. So yeah, Keiichiro shows up to Toma. He asks him what they're fighting over because he recalls the time when Kairi kind of got. He pretty much snapped at him and got all broody. So Toma pretty much says, "Ask him yourself," and he does. He shows up at Jiraiya. Keiichiro explains to Kairi that he wants to have a conversation as friends. But, of course, Kairi doesn't acknowledge him as a friend. Keiichiro refuses to let the issue go and tries to find the source of Kairi's kind of buried pain. But once again, Kairi is reminded of his nice older brother and straight up shoves Keiichiro away and goes to his room. Wow, that was great.
I did say they're changing for better or for worse. I think we all know who I mean when I say worse. Kairi has effectively closed himself off. And, I mean, yes, that's been apparent from the beginning since he's very strictly, we are working as partners, but we are not friends by any means. This, I really think, stabilizes that and brings it back up to the forefront. Because Kairi, he's been seen as the mischief maker of the Lupin Rangers, but he's still the face of them. He's still the bona fide thief. And it also does affected because this isn't home to him. but he's closing himself off, and other people are seeing and witness, both witnessing and feeling the. We talked about Talma earlier not wanting to ask the question because he's fairly certain he knows what the answer is going to be, and he doesn't want to hear that. And of course, Keiichiro, he's feeling it front and center because any reminders of what Kairi had, he immediately pushes away. He doesn't want to feel that pain anymore. And he may put up the facade of he's a mischief maker, nobody's gonna take him seriously, he's the thief who you shouldn't trust. He wants it, he doesn't want anyone getting close.
And the way Kairi teases Umika and how Tuma has to watch over them made me feel like the thieves were siblings. In that like they had that kind of relationship going for them. But here it really drives it hard that Kairi can't handle that kind of thing. He's not strong enough for that. He really doesn't see them that way. He just puts on a face and enjoys himself, but with the note in mind that this is only temporary. I also really enjoyed Tuma and Keiichiro's little chat there, because Tuma was clearly like not wanting it. He didn't move over to give Keiichiro room to sit down until Keiichiro was already sitting down. He tried dodging the questions in more than just I don't want to reveal we're the thieves kind of way. It was a I just don't want to talk about this with you kind of way. Like, it's great to see Tuma in that kind of light because we don't usually get to see him express any kind of feeling at all. And it's ironic that Kairi is the one suppressing his emotions the most. The driving point here was when he shoves Keiichiro the same way he shoved his own brother and realized he can't handle the parallels.
Yep. So, Umika and Toma arrive back at Gerard the next morning. Kairi is slumped over the bar, exhausted. He had to watch Keiichiro all night, so he wouldn't find anything suspicious. At the global police station, Keiichiro is disappointed that Kairi didn't confide in him. Tsukasa explains that he has some issues with his older brother, but she really doesn't know more than that. He's the reason that Kairi left home and started working at Jiraiya. So Keiichiro actually wonders at this point if he should just give up. But then Go Home starts rampaging. So the global police arrive, all four of them. He calls for Potamon, but they're all dead. The ones that he had on his payroll, I guess. So the Keisatsu change, roll call. Go Home's ability does not work on Ichigo since he's carrying his tent on his back. So throughout the fight, he uses his body as a shield, while the others fire. And then the LupinRangers arrive. Blue and Yellow decide to stay back, because their tents would be a giveaway. Patra and X volunteers to steal the piece, and lets Red pretty much sit this one out. So any thoughts before I go to the mech fight?
Bad. Oh, sorry.
I was about to say you're breaking up, but go on.
No, okay. I don't really know there's not much to say about the fight, in my opinion, but I'm always happy to see some characterization for the PatoRangers, especially Keiichiro, so I'm glad that he's being faced with a challenge he doesn't know if he can overcome. The whole time we've known him, he's been brash, hot, cop. stereotyped. But actually forced to cool down and look at the situation perspective. He's not just brandishing his, going in guns blazing with I know that shit. No. This is a legit emotion that he can't at face value. And he doesn't try to cope with this. Makes it easier, easier to him, I think, because I mean that's an honest issue a lot of people have in the real world. Some people go in head first, and most of the time that means diving in brains last. So when you're faced in a situation, difficult to not so much fix it, but make it easy. So I I appreciated what they did for him in this.
Uh, yeah, Keiichiro is the most progressed character. He's not just a big hothead anymore. He actually considered Tsukasa's opinion here. Uh, he showed a lot of maturity in the decision of maybe I should just drop it. And I also want to point out Sakuya's little comedic relief moment was extremely well handled. It didn't feel annoying or out of place at all. We got a little cooldown with Umika and Tuma returning to Jurair, and then we got that introduced to help, relieve the tension a bit more. And it was fine. It was extremely well paced. The fight itself was also great because Keiichiro was protecting his team from every oncoming attack, beam or no. He wasn't taking chances, and that shows a lot about his endurance and his commitment. Uh, Decade.
Yeah, and Patron X changing to Lupin X and saving the collection piece in 2 seconds was pretty badass. So yeah, Go Home is defeated. Gosh revives him. Ichigo is exhausted, so Emperor X deploys, but struggles to defeat. Goody arrives, and Red suggests that they combine with the PatoRangers mechs to defeat Go Home quickly. So they form Good Kuru Kaiser VSX. The PatoRangers are surprised, but Ichigo decides to cooperate elected. Better than nothing. So, yeah, not really spectacular. Go Home is defeated. The police arrive at Jurair. Keiichiro is glad that Kairi made up with the others. Kairi thanks him sarcastically and walks out. Keiichiro is determined to keep watching over him, however. He made up his mind. Kairi punches a pillar in the backyard while the wind blows. Episode ends. That was great. Thoughts?
I'm always happy to see VSX, so that was nice for me, short as it was. And again, good for Keiichiro. He's cooling down, trying not to look at this from the perspective of a cop, but as the perspective of a person who wants to be friends with somebody who's he's not gonna try to butt into his business, well, any more than Keiichiro normally does, but he'll still watch over him in a sense, stepping in for his brother, but not really. And of course, that last scene with Kairi, the symbolism all over the place. If I try to interpret it, I'm probably gonna screw something up. Point is,
I was totally going to say,
like
Keiichiro basically is going to act like Kairi's older brother at this point, which just kind of brings the whole thing full circle in a way. And Kairi is going to snap if he keeps trying to dodge the issue like this. So this just paints a really good picture for what we're looking at for the final arc leading up to the finale. VSX was good to see again. Any other Sentai, like, we would see this mech almost every episode, because, like, gotta market it. But I really like how this series is getting away with only bringing it out sometimes, so that we can, still distinguish the two different teams. They're not working together yet, they're just cooperating, sort of. We'll probably see a lot more of it when the two teams finally, like, work together, though, which should be happening soon. This is episode 37. So we don't have.
They're cutting it.
Yeah, we have like 8.
Oh.
We have 8 to 13 episodes left, going off of the average. I don't know if we have an actual number for this show yet. But yeah, Kairi's still like openly showing Keiichiro that he doesn't like him and wants to avoid him. That action alone spoke a lot of words about how he's not comfortable confronting Keiichiro, not after how much he's seeing his brother in him, especially after the way he shoved him like he did his brother.
Yeah, so final thoughts for me. This was an excellent episode. I know we've had a lot of good character development episodes in the show, but this one felt like above par for this series. It was really good. And I admit I was getting kind of worried that the ending, the final arcs would be a bit rushed, but based on the preview, it looks like it's going to be handled well. We'll see. But yeah, this was a great episode.
Yeah, I second that. They did it again. They did it again. They thought they made us think it was another filler, and then boom, they hit us with all this shit. And yeah, I am very much excited for next week, mostly because it's got my Noel, and if you've watched this show, you know I am a gold and silver Lupat X.
Yeah, this was an amazing episode. The show itself isn't very story progressive, but it's very character progressive, and this is exactly why we love the show. It is the best character development that I've seen in Sentai in a long time, actually. I honestly am looking forward to seeing how this plays out. Next episode preview looks interesting. Seems like that we might be getting the final mech, which this is an appropriate time to do that. So soon after that would be an appropriate time to do the reveal, if they're going to do it before the finale, or at the very least get the teams to actually work together. But at this point, I really wouldn't be surprised if they actually like played off the gimmick to the very end, where they don't officially work together until like shit's going down and it's time to fight Dogranio. Nothing on that?
We'll see.
I can't wait to see it then.
Also, is Zamigo in the next episode? Did I see him in the preview there?
I have no fucking clue.
Yep. I saw him and Destra doing things. I don't know what.
Maybe this was the plan all along. Giant space Lupin collection piece. So yeah, Zamigo started off as an interesting villain, but hasn't done anything, which made me at least lose interest in him because it doesn't seem like he actually wants to do anything as a villain. Seems like he's just kind of there to, watch things play out. So if this is leading into his defeat, then I could be down for that. But it is definitely something that has to be very personal to the Lupin Rangers because he kind of put them in this situation.
Yep, I agree.
No, so they've all gotten strong enough at this point that I feel they could take him on together. Alright. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
I heard some sad news on TVN that the guy who voiced Mr. Voice from Bowcanger passed away.
Oh.
So yeah, rest in peace.
20 salute to you.
You were a good character.
Yep. Very snarky.
Well, I hope his family isn't too hurt by this loss. In other news, I started a new job recently. I'll be working the night shift, so this might be my last Sentai podcast for a while. Yeah, I don't know what my consistent schedule is going to look like, but there's a good chance that I might not be able to do this until I get a different job. So it's unfortunate.
We're gonna miss you, buddy.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna miss talking to you guys about this too. It's unfortunate, but gotta pay my bills.
Yep. Hopefully you can pop by if you ever get Tuesdays off.
Yeah, any Tuesdays I have off, I'll definitely pop by. Alright. Thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow for Kamen Rider ZO. And the rest of them will be back next Tuesday for more Lupin Ranger versus PatoRanger. They'll see you next time.
Yep. Thanks for listening.
Adieu.